Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Flash Forward, issue number 1 of 6, little 6-issue miniseries. Let's see what we got in this. I'm going to tell you 5 things about this book. Mostly neutral, because I don't like the book, I don't hate the book, but I am curious as to where it goes, just to give you a heads up. So I'm going to tell you those 5 things about the book after I tell you who made this book. Flash Forward, Chapter 1, Incursion Point Zero. Scott Lobdell does the script, Brett Booth does the pencils, Norm Rapamund on inks, Louis Guerrero on colors, A Larger World's Troy Bateri on letters, and Doc Shanner doing the cover, with In-Hyuk Lee doing the variant cover. All right, number 1 on this list is Tempest Fugonaut. If you remember the book Sideways, one of the Dark Knight metal books that came out afterwards, The New World of Heroes, whatever that was, there's the character Sideways, and yeah, if you want to get the first appearance of Tempest Fugonaut for some reason, I believe it was issue number 1, was a random appearance, whatever. I think that was the first appearance. So he shows up here, and it's like, oh yay, this guy who was so weak that he wasn't able to stop a brand new hero who could teleport. Meanwhile, this guy's one of the masters of time and space. He's supposed to be a guardian of the area in between that like dark matter space in between the universes, in the 52 universes. So, like, yeah, he just whatever. And then he tried to help Sideways afterwards. I didn't see him as being useful for pretty much anything at all, whatsoever. Some great god who can't do anything, who cares? What's he going to protect? You know what I'm saying? What's he going to protect? I can go up there with a baseball bat, and all of a sudden I'm in charge of the freaking space in between the new 52 universes. So, there you go. So this guy, he shows up and it's like, I don't care. And he's got some special destiny for the Flash, specifically because Wally West is from a different universe. He wasn't affected by, he's basically outside of the continuum in some ways. His family comes from another world. That's why he can't find his family. He doesn't, like, he knows his wife. She appears in here, but it's not his wife in this world. It's just the girl who would be his wife if it was his world. Therefore, they don't have kids, and his whole life is shattered. Yeah, so that happens. That kind of leads me into number 2 with this book, and that is emotions. That elicited some emotions, because that's pretty messed up. But they also wind up trying to bring up the emotions of Heroes in Crisis. Remember, this is a follow-up to Heroes in Crisis. This is supposed to be the 6-issue redemption of Wally West, which I really hope it is, because King pretty much butt-raped Wally in that story. I think it was 9 issues. And it was absolutely horrendous. If you like the book, that's cool. I did not. I have to speak from my own interpretation. I did not like the book at all. I liked it at first until I realized it was all just nonsense. We were lied to the whole time. Anyway, I'm not here for that. Go back and check out my reviews for that if you want. It's mostly just me yelling politely. But anyway, in here, he has an opportunity to, since he doesn't exist within this universe, you know, he's not supposed to. He can operate outside of the universe, and he is still the fastest man alive, and it is what it is. Number 3 is that this book is kind of prison accurate. Every single trope that you'd imagine from a prison, and I know a bunch of people who served in prison. I was actually a chaplain for a county prison in New Jersey for a while, and that's a pretty freaking rough place, man. People in and out all the time, and it sucks. Anyway, yeah, I know plenty of people who were in the prison system. Some who probably maybe still are. It's just the way that it works. And the whole idea of getting beaten up by people, guards being bribed, guards calling you inmate all the time because they never want you to forget that you're a prisoner inside of this place with concrete walls and iron bars everywhere, where you're told when to eat, when to sleep, when to do everything. Somehow you might forget, so they have to call you inmate all the time. That's, yeah, brilliant. So I'm glad that it was very prison accurate. Thank you for that. Thank you. I'm completely neutral on that one. It is what it is. Let's talk about number 4 on this book. Probably the most important thing here. The Mobius Chair appears. There's a Thanagarian who shows up, and he tries to use the... It's like limited to 1 page, where he tries to get to the Mobius Chair. He does. He sits on the Mobius Chair, and his mind is instantly fried. You'd figure that a Thanagarian, of all things, would be smart enough to at least mess around with the Absorbiscon first. Any of you who are familiar with the Hawk world, Shadow War of Hawkman, at least, go and check out my Spotlight on Story for Hawk World, because it's a really great introduction to Hawkman, and also the Shadow War of Hawkman, which is just one of the best freaking works out there. The first comic book I ever bought with my own money, and it holds a near and dear place in my heart. Tony Isabella and Richard Howell, I believe, was the artist on that. Tony Isabella, the writer. Unbelievably amazing job. Please go and check that out and consider buying those books and shoot a message to Tony Isabella how this is an amazing book, because yeah, it was. And there was the Absorbiscon in there, which basically allows a lot of telepathy and understanding, learning the languages and customs of a culture of any new planet at any moment in time. So of all the cultures that they could have used, at least if in the next issue or so we get mentioned that, man, even a Thanagarian who had lots of practice with an Absorbiscon wasn't able to sit on the Mobius chair, that would work. Otherwise, it's like, well, if you're not even going to mention the Absorbiscon, I just have to assume that you'd forgotten about it. I'm a huge fan of Scott Lobdell's work. I don't like everything that he's done, but I like pretty much most of what he's done. I don't want to say most of what he's done, but pretty much all of what he's done. There's very few exceptions to that. So I'm hoping that he's prepared to, have that mentioned at some point later, so that we understand the gravitas of what we're dealing with here in the Mobius chair. New gods are, wow. Can't mess with a new god. New god sits on a chair. Metron, you're good, all right? And Batman is that above and beyond. And then we can talk about number 5 on this book, and that would be Superman of Earth 23. Superman is basically, Superman of Earth 23 is President Superman. Some people just know him as the Black Superman, which, yeah, I guess that's fair. he is. But he's one of the Supermen who, probably aside from the regular Kal-El of Earth 2 and the regular Superman that we know, he's probably the best of the Supermen. He knows people. He knows his people. He was elected to be the president of his world. His universe, like, he's beloved by the people, probably even more so than Clark, of what do you call it, the Superman that we're used to. So him being beaten up the way that he is, that they show at the end of this book, is something else, and I can't wait to see where this is going to go. If Waller's going to be jumping to different worlds, I'm okay with that. If he's going to be trying to solve little problems here and there, I'm totally cool with that. Either way, the book really gives me more curiosity than anything else. But as far as the emotions it was trying to elicit and whatnot, barely. But we'll see where this goes. I'm definitely going to check out issue 2. And if issue 2 is even just as good as this issue, I'll probably read all 6 of them, because I am curious as to how Wally's going to be redeemed. Because we are promised he's going to be redeemed. So hopefully that means in flash forward. All right, guys, I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.